on the line. Here he is. Good morning. Where are you calling from, sir?
I am calling from Southern California.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually in the Anza Borrego Desert as I'm talking to you.
Really?
Yeah.
And when are you from?
Well, when I'm from is 2037.
2037?
Yeah, but this goes back. I'll tell you. Well, first of all, I'll tell you that since you did this show, I had to call you because I remember listening to this and going, "My God, that's my voice."
Oh my God.
In fact, well, see, it all started with. Well, in fact, I had called. Well, I guess it's 97. Several months earlier, saying I had bought one of Steve Gibbs' machines.
Oh, you bought one of... You bought
yeah, I remember, and I said I was getting phone calls from myself.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. Well, this continued, and now I know why. Anyway, Gibbs' things, they didn't work very well.
Must have worked.
They worked well in the desert. From that experience.
Where did you go?
I wasn't able to go far. I was only able to go maybe a couple of years ahead. I had problems. I couldn't go backwards either. But I was also later in the military in 2001 and 2 and 3.
What were you able to observe?
I wasn't able to observe. I was still in the same where I was before. But that's not my method of time travel right now. My method is a ship which I operate.
You have a ship?
Yeah, I was. Well, we don't want to call them abductees, but an experiencer, and recruited, and I thought it was great, and they. Well, it's not that hard to operate the ship. The other Mike, my name is Mike too. The other Mike, I was curious about him because he was sent back on a mission. And I'm curious about who sent him back. Because there's various time travelers. There are unwilling time travelers, and these unwilling time travelers were people who were experimented on either by the government or by different beings who visit us, of course.
I should have asked him. It was just impossible. I mean, well, I get you guys on the line, and then it's like there's a million questions you think of afterwards. So I will ask you, what is it that you would consider would be most important for us to know about time travel?
The most important thing, I personally, there are various opinions. There's everyone's in our little sector has different opinions on what you would call the paradox and all that. I am sort of a maverick and don't believe in that because there are multi-timelines.
In other words, there are parallel timelines where...
Well, yeah. Well, there's a multi-parallel timeline.
So here on Earth...
well, everywhere.
Okay, I hadn't thought of that. Of course, right. It would be everywhere. It what we know as a dimension?
Right. I mean, that's what I use. My vehicle, I call it a nonlinear dimensional layer transport vehicle. Because that's how I
Now, you can prove this to me by saying that again.
Nonlinear dimensional layer transport vehicle. And one of the reasons why I was recruited by what we'll call these other beings is that when I was in the military, I was in 2 operations. In 2001, I was in Operation Black Opera, and 2002, Operation Black Swan.
Black Opera, I've heard of Black Opera.
Really?
Yes.
At this time?
I had a reference once. One person once referenced Black Opera, and I tried to get him to send me information on it, and he disappeared.
Well, those are reverse-engineered vehicles, and when I was in the military, I learned how to operate them, which gives me the expertise of operating the vehicle I have now.
Well, will you now? You are a permanent resident now in 1997.
Well, no. Well, actually, I had to come here and call in because I remember hearing this call. So I'm fulfilling my paradox.
Oh my God!
It's like the phone calls I was giving myself, and I called you about that. Gee.
Well,
years ago, but I
can't tell you how impressed I am. I thought I'd get a call like this, and here you are. Thank you, my friend.
Okay, well, if you had any questions, I have it all.
All right. I can't think of any more right now. My mind is wobbling.
Okay, the one thing I have, and some people will know, Operation Southern Cross. And I think your other caller was on that mission. I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure who he is. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Pretty good ones here. The mind wobbles, doesn't it?